stray away from that for a split second, is Max Bennett, who was also one of Joni Mitchell's great bass players. He was a bass teacher of mine. When, in the early 80s, I went to Dick Grove's School of Music out here in Studio City, and he played on some incredible recordings for Joni as well, and that was exciting. So I'm like, studying with him, but at the same, and he had an attitude, and he eventually, actually, I think he got sort of clipped from the program because of his attitude, but Jaco had an attitude too.
He sure did.
So there you go. But guess what? Joni has an attitude.
Right. Joni said that Jaco's attitude and arrogance was okay because he backed it up, and that a lot of times people mistook it for something other. And she just said he was wild, but it was always backed up.
And that's what I appreciated about him, because in my mind, coming from where I came from, like Venice Beach, California, where it was all about the attitude.
Yeah.
I grew up with a lot of the skateboarders in Dogtown, and even playing in Suicidal Tendencies, there was always sort of this, we can back this up, we'll fight if we have to, and there was all that going on. And Jaco reminded me of that energy that I grew up with. But at the same time, Joni lived down the street from my dad down at Venice Beach this was a few years later with her husband Larry Klein, and that was always super cool to me too. Though I didn't know her,
right,
I was just so excited about being just even a few houses away from her and her energy and the mystique of her, knowing that she played with Jaco. And
how old were you then?
I was a teenager.
Wow.
So I would have been like 17 or something at that time. I have a really great story that I want to share. I was invited to play at a event at the House of Blues in Hollywood. It was honoring Keith Moon and John Entwistle. Lemmy was there being honored as well. And I was outside. I had just played the two songs I was playing, and I was just kind of kicking back outside. Lemmy sits down next to me. He's smoking his cigarette, as Lemmy does. And we're talking. We're having a conversation. And I had invited Joni, but I didn't think she was going to show up. She's walking in, and I was outside, so we saw each other. She sits down next to me, so she's on the right side. Lemmy from Motorhead is on the left side, and they're both smoking away. I don't smoke, but I'm just like embracing and inhaling this magical smoke. And then I introduce them. I say, Joni, this is Lemmy. Takes a big drag off the cigarette. She looks at Lemmy and goes, "It's a pleasure to meet you, Lemmy," like that. He's kind of like a Clint Eastwood, or and he just kind of takes a drag, and he's like, "It's an honor to meet you, Joni." And he didn't even, it wasn't fazed by the misnaming. And then he's like, what the chords were you playing on? And a Court and Spark or something. And she's like, well, I tuned my guitars a certain way. And they went on to this discussion about how she plays her chords and writes her songs. And it was just so beautiful to see these two pirates, basically, of the arts, of music, of creativity, who are true to what they do, very passionate, and have this moment together. And I was just in the middle of it, just embracing it and loving it.
Robert Trujillo from Metallica.